Okay, now let's look at how we are going to use less answering format to target type 2 questions. Okay, for type 2 questions, this is actually mentioned earlier on. Okay, this kind of question 1, question 2, and question 3. Okay, and I have already briefly mentioned what should you look out for. Okay, so in this case, for question 1, only the identification of the reason and factor is required. Okay, you just need to bring out one. Okay, no need to talk about 2 factors, don't waste time. Okay, and if you ever see keywords like suggest, okay, it simply means that you may be okay, not say maybe, but you can use context from outside from the CSQ. Okay, you can use context from external context. Do not need to use CSQ context, but priority is given to CSQ context because of the keyword here. The command word here is actually asking you to suggest. Okay, it's not strictly asking you to pluck out from the CSQ itself. Okay, so for question 2, okay, you have to identify and explain 2 sets of reason. Okay, resulting in 2 marks each. So identify is 1 mark. Okay, explain is 1 mark, and keep it brief. Okay, explanation need to be brief, but you need to use economic terminology. Okay, you need to use jargons like demand and supply. Okay, you need to use jargons like income. Okay, so a lot of times why students don't get the 2nd mark, because they are vague. Okay, they answer like GP. If you answer like GP, then good luck. Okay, this is not a GP paper. Alright, you need to use economics jargons and terms. Okay, and for question 3, this is actually quite rare. You don't get to see 6 marks very often. Okay, but things to take note of. Okay, 3 marks are allocated to each point. 1 mark for identifying the factor or reason, and 2 marks for in-depth explanation. Okay, so in this case, sometimes you may be required to use a diagram for in-depth explanation. Okay, and diagrams will be allocated mark. Okay, so you may be required, but you still need to look at the keyword. If not, it will be a very detailed explanation. All right. Okay, so in this case, let's go back to the put data that we used earlier on. Okay, so in this case, this is the world car market between Japan and UK. You can actually see that in terms of percentage, the domestic import, the domestic production, and the import amount, okay, for Japan and UK. All right. And now, I want you guys to attempt this question. Okay, suggest 2 reasons for the difference in the share of domestic import cars in Japan and UK. Alright, and before you go on, for J1 students or J2 students without prior knowledge to trade, okay, international trade, okay, you may be exempted from this question. Okay, but I want you all to learn what are some of the techniques involved. Okay, so quickly pause for 3 minutes and you're ready. Let's begin. Okay, let's go. Okay, so highlight the keywords. Suggest means that you can use anything out of the extract. You can use, but mainly from the extract itself. 2 reasons, the difference in the share of the domestic and imported cars. Okay, so less methods. So you realize that Japan has very low imported cars, right, as compared to domestic amount. So it could be inferred that there is very high tariff barriers, okay, or very high imported tax on foreign cars that's coming into Japan. Okay, and in this case, the Japanese consumers would prefer a domestic car. Okay, or there could be strict non-tariffs in Japan. Okay, or rather other kinds of barriers. Okay, so it could be because other imported cars into Japan, they have a very high exhaust emission level. Okay, and they do not produce clean clean emission like Japanese car. That's why they are rejected. They are not allowed to be imported into Japan. Alright? And you realize that Japan has very low import amount into other countries. Okay, so let's say let's consider okay, so Japan has very low amount of let's not look at UK. Okay, let's focus on Japan. Okay, so Japan has very huge domestic amount as compared to UK. So the reason why maybe Japan is not doing well overseas, okay, why are they focusing on domestic market is because of poor marketing efforts by Japanese car firms. Okay, and this explains the huge amount of domestic share. Okay, so any two out of the three reasons is fine. Okay, any two out of the three reasons. Okay, and you realize that the answers are very short. Okay, no need to go in depth. Okay, into explaining. Okay, because this is suggest. Okay, explanation is not required. All right. Okay, now let's look into the next type 2 type of question. So very often, okay, you will face this kind of combination. Okay, they will ask you type 1 and type 2. Okay, and if you flop type 1, you will not get type 2 correct. Okay, so very often it will cost you 6 marks out of your 30. Because if your type 1, you didn't manage to do it well, there is no way you can get your second extension question, which is type 2, correctly. Okay, so to put it in context, let me show you how is it going to work. Okay, so this is the manufacturing output in UK between this time frame, the time series data. Okay, and same thing. Okay, now let's look at trend description. Okay, I want you all to describe the trend between 1984 to 1987. Sorry, 87, not 97. The data only extends to 87. Okay, so spend 3 minutes doing so, and I'll guide you through quickly the question. When you're ready, you can resume the video. Okay, so same thing. Describe trend 1984 to 1987. So identify general trend. UK manufacturing sector is generally growing. Okay, there is a slowdown in output growth. Okay, or if you want to be more specific, with the exception that there is a slowdown in output growth. Okay, so the word exception comes out. Okay, I'm very sorry. I left out the keyword here. Reason being, I might be sleeping while I'm typing the answer scheme. So please forgive me. Okay, so add in the keyword exception, or there's an anomaly. Okay. So this is actually, I think by now you should be able to identify this kind of question already. All right, I identify the trend question. One more thing, okay, about this question. Okay, a lot of students between 85 to 86, okay, they mention that there is a fall in output level. Okay, this is not true. Okay, you realize that this is on year change. So between 83 to 84, okay, output growth by 3.9. 84 to 85 grow by 3.1%. Okay, 85 to 86, there is still a growth, but it is very slow. Okay, your growth actually slowed down. Okay, the output level did not fall. Okay, this is something that you need to know. Okay, still increasing. Okay, but did not fall. Okay, so this is one key thing that a lot of students make mistake, especially when they do not understand the variable very well. Okay, they fall into this trap. Okay, especially percentage is a big trap here. All right. So now, based on you have to get these two questions correct first before you are able to tackle the next question. So they will ask you to explain your observations in the previous question. So now, same thing. I want you all to spend the next 6 minutes, okay, to tackle this question. Okay, once you are ready, resume the video. Okay, so the keyword here is explain. Previous question. So whenever you see explain kind, sometimes they will not use identify and explain anymore. Okay, so they will just use the keyword here explain. When you have explain and 4 marks question, you have to identify plus explain 2 marks. Identify plus explain 2 marks. This is how you get. Okay, and you have to identify the factor for the general trend. Okay, and you have to identify the factor for the reversal. Okay, so let's quickly look into the answer. Okay, UK was generally a manufacturing-based economy during the time period. That explains why they experienced output growth in manufacturing. And the reason is because they are able to attract a lot of foreign producers to set up domestic manufacturing plants in UK. Okay, so identify and explain. Okay, and the reversal in trend. Okay, so UK has experienced a recession in 1986. Okay, and the explanation is with a fall in income, because during recession there is a fall in income level for everyone. There is a fall in demand for manufactured goods. You need to use key terms like this. Okay, key terms like attracted many foreign producers set up top. Okay, so these are the key terms that you need to note. Okay, and thus there is lower output is produced when there is a fall in demand for manufactured goods and services. Okay, so unfortunately, okay, for this extract, okay, I do not have any written process. Okay, but if there are any written process that support all this all this explanation, you must quote them. Okay, you must quote them. So you need to say extract 3 para blah 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 blah. Okay, you need to be able to quote them. Okay, so if you don't quote them, different schools have different marking scheme. Okay, some schools where they are more lenient, they'll let you pass. Okay, we give you full marks, and some schools, if you don't quote the extract, okay, they will not give you the mark. Okay, so the general consensus is, in this case, be a bit more kiasu, quote the extract. Okay, but don't quote everything. You just need to insert the extract and paragraph. Okay, and you need to add in blah blah blah. You just need to use short sentence shortener, okay, and bring out the general key terms in the sentence. That's it. Okay, to support your context. Okay.